life.
A massive federal investigation into staged accidents in New Orleans appears to be winding down. The last two major defendants are scheduled to be sentenced over the next few months, including the only attorney charged in the case.
So what happened to other lawyers who filed fraudulent lawsuits? Investigative reporter Mike-Perlstein has tracked the investigation from the beginning in our series Highway Robbery. Tonight he looks at the implications for Louisiana drivers.
It's unacceptable, it's unaffordable, and like I said, I don't want Louisiana to be the state that's identified as, oh, let's go practice fraud in that state.
That's Louisiana Insurance Commissioner-elect Tim Temple talking about the estimated $600 a year that all Louisiana drivers pay for insurance due to staged accidents and the bogus lawsuits that follow. Operation Sideswipe, the sprawling 5-year federal investigation that exposed more than 100 intentional accidents with 18-wheel trucks, was supposed to curtail the fraud. But even though 52 people were indicted, 44 of them pleading guilty, only a single attorney has been charged so far.
They need to be held more accountable than somebody who was a passenger in a car.
Those passengers and the street-level organizers of the scheme known as slammers have been cooperating with the feds. But prosecutors' efforts to implicate attorneys has run into major roadblocks. First, a slammer-turned federal witness, Cornelius Garrison, was fatally shot when his indictment was made public. And many of the attorneys under scrutiny for filing false claims hired their own criminal defense lawyers, and those lawyers didn't wait for indictments. They went on the offensive. Here's a clip of a tape recording that was shared with prosecutors in which one confessed slammer, Damian LeBeau, is talking to accident attorneys he referred cases to.
I can guarantee you, all my life, there ain't never been trying to get you no fraud, put me into no, it ain't no fraud, nothing I ever done.
I don't know if there are a whole lot of smoking guns for them to climb up the ladder.
Personal injury attorney Edwin Shorty Jr. knows the federal case well. In 2017, he filed an accident lawsuit for 3 people who claimed they were hit by a truck on I-10. This August, just before the statute of limitations ran out, those 3 people were indicted, accused of staging the accident. Long before anyone heard about Operation Sideswipe, the trucking company in that case began raising suspicions and vigorously contested Shorty's lawsuit in court. At first, he plowed ahead.
If the insurance company denies the claim or has a problem with the claim, does that really give me a concern? No, because insurance companies are in the business of denying claims.
But when the Fed started charging people, Shorty got off the case.
I started to see enough where it became problematic.
In fact, the case was barreling toward trial when Shorty's clients decided to plead the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination and drop the lawsuit. But not all attorneys bailed on cases that the feds flagged as suspicious. One attorney, Hollywood stuntwoman turned lawyer Vanessa Mata, was among them. Of 8 accident lawsuits that federal authorities were able to freeze because of the criminal probe, Mata had 5 of them. No other attorney had more than 1.
If you have a client that comes in and lies to you, that's not your fault. But it is your fault if you don't get out.
Mata was listed as Attorney B in federal court documents. Her fiancé, Sean Alfordish, a disbarred attorney who served time in federal prison in an unrelated fraud case, is listed as co-conspirator A. Neither has been charged. Mata's attorney, Dane Cialino, said that's because, quote, there's no evidence she's done anything wrong. Cialino noted that Mata offered to submit to an FBI interview, but the agency declined. As the feds took their foot off the gas, some of Mata's accident lawsuits crashed and burned when they were allowed to go forward. Some were dropped after years of expensive litigation. One, involving brothers Keon and Joshua Youngblood, went all the way to a 4-day trial before a jury was shown that Joshua was actually on the West Bank when his brother was involved in an accident with a truck near the French Quarter.
14 people, 12 jurors and 2 alternates had to sit for a week outside of their jobs, not in their childcare, not making money, having to rearrange their whole life to sit through a trial that attorney should have known was fraud.
But Shorty says it's not so easy to tell if a claim is bogus. Even if there are red flags, he said a plaintiff's attorney has an obligation to a client.
And it's not like you can ask the U.S. Attorney's Office, hey, tell me so I can make an informed decision. You're getting bits and pieces. and you still want to have faith in what your client is saying.
If this is the end of Operation Sideswipe, the incoming insurance commissioner said he will try to fight the fraud with new cases or in other ways.
I think we've got to continue the efforts to combat fraud, and maybe it sounds like we need to double down.
Mike Perlstein, WWL Louisiana.
Damian LeBeau, the slammer turned federal witness, is scheduled to be sentenced on December 7th. The one and only attorney caught in the case, Daniel Patrick Keating, is set for his sentencing on February 1st.